let's discuss the top strategies for reconnecting with lost leads for your company. Today on Built to Scale. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's show. Today, we're going to be talking about what you can do to be able to reconnect with leads that have gone silent for more than 30 days. And to discuss those strategies, I have with me my partner, as usual, the CEO of GoRisen, Rogelio Rodriguez. Rod, thanks for making some time today in your schedule.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
And Rod, I couldn't think of anybody better I'd want to talk to about with this because you started off in the sales room, worked your way up. I know you still are very involved with sales processes at our company. So I couldn't think of somebody who doesn't have more experience in this topic than you do.
Yeah, super excited to share my knowledge. So let's do it.
I want to start off, Rod, with talking about the why, right? Why do you think leads go silent after a long period of time? What happens in their heads from your experience that makes them just stop responding?
That's a great question. I think just oftentimes I think they're still either in a research mode or there's a reason why they can't like commit, right? They may feel like it's not urgent to make the purchase right now or make the move to buy the service, right? Like I think there's a lot to be said about someone's mindset when they're doing the research to buy a product or service, and oftentimes you can end up in like analysis paralysis, right? Like you have so many options. You're like, I can't make a decision. There's too many things, right? And another part is maybe distractions, life, right? Like I think we live in a world that can be hyper distracting, right? With phones, TV, every single screen in front of you on, right? Like uh, sometimes they can even forget their initial interest. Because I've come across individuals that submit a form online, they show interest, they look excited, like they answer on the urgency question, they answer they want it now, and then go completely lost. They completely forgot. They forgot they filled out the form. Even that happens on Facebook leads. So I think those are some of the reasons why people go silent after showing that initial interest.
Why do you think it's important for salespeople and companies to stop and actually think about the why question? Why leads disengage?
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to understand your target audience intimately in order for you to be successful in sales, right? And part of that is knowing those reasons why they lose interest, so that you can tailor a re-engagement approach that can be helpful, right, to reigniting their interest and creating the sense of urgency again, right? I think like something that you have to focus on is providing something that distinguish you from other companies or the competition. And
Yeah.
there's like some stats, right? Like 20% of sales leads receive follow-up communication. That means like 80% of potential opportunities are lost because lack of engagement from sales. Like people are not following up. So
20% of leads get follow up. That's it.
that's it. Yeah.
My
Yeah.
gosh. So if I'm hearing what you're saying, like it's just a matter of executing on a strategy.
Yeah, I mean, it's being disciplined to follow up on every single lead, no matter like have no bias whatsoever, right? And every lead is gold. If you have that mentality, that you're gonna follow up with every lead. Because I think like oftentimes the salespeople would get caught up in the fact that like you make judgments based on the way they answer, right? Or they submit a form, and then like you're already setting yourself up instead of being curious. When you lead with curiosity and you're engaging with them, they're going to feel that, right? They're going to feel that you're addressing their needs and concerns directly because of that curiosity.
So how often should salespeople be following up with their leads that have gone cold?
How often? So I'll give you more stats here, right? 44% of salespeople give up after one follow up. However, it's known that 80% of sales are made between the fifth and 12th contact, right?
Wow.
So as long as you stay within, you know, the rules of the FCC for telemarketing follow up, I would say do it as often as possible, right? Until you get a response, right? Until you get a response, it's a yes or no. Do you want to continue or not? Like I can keep following up forever with you, you know?
So let's talk a little bit more about those outreach strategies, Rod. What are some effective ways that you've seen to be able to try and reignite that conversation with dormant leads?
I think number one, personalize your outreach, right? Tailoring the message to the individual, reflecting what interest that they showed to you in previous conversations or on form submissions, um, and then make sure that all your communication provides value, right? You can provide them with new information, you can provide them with tools, maybe exclusive discounts, access to special services, free consultations, partnership deals, customer testimonials. All those elements are meant to help you build up the relationship through a follow-up strategy, right?
What about timing and frequency, Rod? You mentioned keep going as much as you can to keep the conversation alive, but do you have any recommendations on timing and frequency when it comes to following up?
Yeah, so I think just from reviewing the data, best times to include Thursday through Saturday during lunch for SMS, and late mornings for calls, right? Uh, and Wednesdays and Thursdays usually yield better results. I don't know if it's like because Mondays like Monday's Monday, so you have a lot of things on your plate, and then Friday you're like getting ready for the weekend, so then, like the middle of the week seems like excellent, right? I mean, like I come from a world of cold calling from like 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then again from 5 to 7 at night, So for me, those were the best times to make the calls because people were available, usually before work or after work, right? They were able and open to talk. But it really depends. Your strategy needs to depend on your audience and who you want to target, who you want to reach.
When it comes to following up with lost leads, is that something you should give right back to your salespeople? How can you approach being able to take on that list that probably you didn't consider up until maybe listening to this episode?
Yeah, I think you need to consider having a dedicated specialist or even a call center, somebody that's professionally trained in re-engagement that can make the outreach more effective, right? They're focused only on that activity, only on a 15-minute call to qualify the person that's going to set the appointment. And that's all they do, right? Because oftentimes I think we can waste a lot of time as salespeople being our own appointment setter, being our own individual qualifier as well, right? Whatever elements you can put in play that will make the lead more qualified for the salesperson, it will make their job a lot easier to execute on the follow through, right, on the actual sale. So
How important is the tone of your messaging when it comes to reaching out? Should there be a difference between maybe that first or second contact piece and what you're doing when you're trying to get them to start talking to you again?
yeah, I think it's just being flexible, right? You don't know what someone else is going through, so your approach needs to remain flexible as possible, so that you can ensure that the lead feels understood, they feel valued, right? Like all these things, leading really with empathy when you're speaking with them is gonna help you make sure that that's one like a more qualified lead, and they're more willing to do business with you.
Any final words of advice, Rod, on how to be able to just improve your lost lead recovery process?
Yeah, absolutely. I think don't give up on any lead, right? As I mentioned earlier, every lead is a golden lead. It's really the salesperson's job to you know find that gold, and with the right strategy and communication, you can reestablish a relationship. You can bring back lost leads, lost opportunities, right? Like I mean, I've converted customers that told me no 2 years ago, right? And they're saying yes today. So you never know. Keep that relationship alive. Keep providing the value to the customer. Stay personal, offer value, and make sure that you have a tone that they like to engage with, right? Like they wanna be you want to be as helpful as you can. And for those needing assistance, there's some pre-made voicemail scripts available specifically for window and door companies to improve their lead generation and engagement. So feel free to download that from our website.
I'll make sure to put that link in the show notes in the description, folks, if you want to check that out. Rod, you said that was free, right?
Absolutely, it's free.
Can't beat that. Absolutely. Rod, thanks for coming on the show, sharing some of these tips. It's much, much appreciated.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And to everybody joining us today, please take a moment, follow us on social media. We are everywhere. We've got a TikTok account we just started that's blowing up. So make sure to follow us for more educational tips, news, and resources that we provide you to be able to grow your business faster, smarter, and stronger. And as another plug, if you're a HubSpot user, we have a HubSpot user group focused specifically on helping you level up your skills in the platform. And if that's something of interest to you and you want to network with other professionals, you can go join our chapter at goriz.co/hug. We'll make sure to include a link in the show notes for that too. Don't stop. Keep growing, everybody. We'll see you next time.